One brake is the next mistake. Relying on one brake. Your motorcycle has two wheels and both wheels have brakes. Most beginners rely on one. Which one? The rear one. There is a theory going around in the beginners and the boda community that front brakes are dangerous. You're not supposed to use them. So what happens is you'll find people avoiding completely to touch it, or they even remove it. It is not engaged, it's removed. Something has been removed to make sure it doesn't work because it is dangerous. According to them, it's dangerous. So you find that the power of braking in a vehicle or a motorcycle, whatever is moving, don't ride your bike while you're high on anything. Especially these days, we have a very, very serious problem with people abusing weed. Yeah, people abusing weed. It's becoming a problem. Globally, not even in Kenya alone. Globally, people abusing weed. People have come up with different ways of consuming weed. Cooking it in biscuits and cookies, putting it in drinks, putting everywhere. Because smoking weed now doesn't look fashionable anymore. So people have crafted other ways of consuming weed. Hi, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're watching this video from. Welcome back to your most favorite YouTube channel about motorcycles, the Two Wheels Paradise. My name is Meshak as usual, and here we are in some very beautiful place with a very, very beautiful discussion. And today in this video, we are talking about the 10 mistakes that beginner bikers make. Most of the times, like always, and not only the beginners, some of the mistakes are even being done by people with motorcycle experience. Welcome, let's have this discussion. It might be of so much help to you. So stay with me to the end of this video. I promise it's not a long video, but it's very, very educative. So don't skip any part of it. Stick with me to the end of it. The mistakes that beginner bikers make most of the times. And some of the mistakes end up becoming fatal mistakes. Some of the mistakes not only become fatal, but make people hate motorcycles. You and your family and your friends will end up hating motorcycles because of some of the mistakes we are about to discuss in this video. Mistake number one, starting on the wrong bike. We are talking about a beginner, someone who has just gotten their first bike. Whether it was given to you, borrowed from someone, you inherited from someone, you bought it with your own money, whatever happened to get you that bike doesn't matter. What matters is, it is your first bike. You are a beginner and this is where you have started riding your bikes. Starting on the wrong bike. What do I mean by wrong bike? You can start on a long bike because of so many reasons. So many aspects that make that bike you have the wrong bike. And we are going to have another video explaining in details about long bikes. But for now, let's look at this in simple language. You can start on the long size of a motorcycle, a bike bigger than you can handle. You can start on a bike that is more expensive than what you can handle in terms of maintenance. You can start on the long design of a motorcycle. Like where I am right now, sitting on my 1999 Honda Trans Am. This is an adventure bike. We are in some quarries in Kiambu County. Here we are is a quarry where people come to harvest stones for building. I want you to look at this. You stay in some quiet place like this one, in the village, some downtown estates away from the city, and you want to start riding bikes, commuting to work, maybe for weekend rides, and the bike you have started riding is a super bike, sport bike. And here, what you have is rocks, muddy places, like today, it's been raining the whole night. the roads are muddy, and you have started riding your bikes with a sport bike or a cruiser. Yeah, or a cruiser. Maybe the reason why you wanted to ride a bike is to have weekend outs, traveling, just see the beautiful country. What I do most of the times, adventure riding. But what you started on is a dirt bike. Yeah, motocross. How long do you think you can ride that bike on the highway? This bike has a top speed of like 90 kilometers an hour, and that is the head of it on the highway. But when it comes to the jungles, this bike is like a horse. But you're not planning to ride that bike in the forest, you are planning to ride it on the highway, starting on the long bike. These are some of the mistakes that beginners make. Mistake number 2 is wearing the wrong gear, wrong riding gear. You could be riding very, very expensive motorcycle protective gear, but the wrong one. For instance, let me make myself an example for this video. For the purpose of explanation, let me use myself as an example. You always find me wearing this canvas. I have several of these jackets, the canvas jackets, the adventure jackets. I want you to imagine me on my Honda Transalp, riding the whole day from morning to evening in a racing suit, leather suit, complete racing suit. Not the half jacket and the pants. I'm talking about the complete leather suit for racing. How long do you think I can stay inside that thing? In a hot sunny day, traveling kilometers and kilometers? Like yesterday, that is the day before this video was recorded. I'm talking about yesterday, I did 477 kilometers around central Kenya. 477 kilometers. How long do you think you can ride in a racing suit, racing boots? How long? That's what I'm talking about, long gear. When you talk about motorcycle gear, it's not about riding in slippers and vest and stuff like that. You could invest a lot of money in buying the long motorcycle gear. Look at the bike you have. Look at the design of the bike you're riding. It will tell you the type of gear you need to wear. These things are protective, like this one. It has all the paddings that you need in case of an accident. But it is not a leather one. Okay? So you could invest a lot of money, but buy the long gear. Number 3, riding with kickstand down. What is a kickstand? The kickstand is that side stand that we use when parking the bike. That's what we call kickstand. Modern bikes have sensors. Not only modern, even some old bikes, like this one from the 90s, it has a sensor. If you put it on idling, on neutral gear, it is okay with that stand being down, because definitely you need to park the bike and you cannot put it straight down, like lying flat. You have to put it on some stand. So the side stand will allow the engine to run when the gear is neutral. But the moment you engage gear 1, the engine dies. The bike will go off, because you're not supposed to ride with that stand being down. It is very dangerous. It can park the bike while you are on the move. Unfortunately, we have bikes that don't have that sensor. A lot of them. Low cc bikes don't come with that sensor. A lot of them. They don't come with that sensor. So what happens is, most of the times you forget. Look at the boda community. How many times have you seen a boda guy riding with passengers, sometimes very huge luggage, but the side stand is still down? If you make a mistake and take a twist, you take a corner so fast, or you lean the bike in a corner, that stand will park the bike. Trust me, it will park the bike. It will. It can kill you. So kickstand, you have to make sure it is not down. make it a habit of kicking the stand before you engage the gear, or even before you run the engine. When you sit on the bike, feel you are comfortable on the bike is upright, the stand is not doing anything, it's just hanging there. Kick it. That's why it is called kickstand, because you kick it down and kick it up. That's how you engage it and disengage it. Kick it down, kick it up. Just have a habit of kicking it up. Beginners have that mistake. Just using one brake is the next mistake. Relying on one brake. Your motorcycle has two wheels and both wheels have brakes. Most beginners rely on one. Which one? The rear one. There is a theory going around in the beginners and the boda community that front brakes are dangerous. You're not supposed to use them. So what happens is you'll find people avoiding completely to touch it, or they even remove it. It is not engaged, it's removed. Something has been removed to make sure it doesn't work, because it is dangerous. According to them, it's dangerous. So you find that the power of braking in a vehicle or a motorcycle, whatever is moving, the weight goes to the front when you start to brake. I want you to test this today. Throw the bike with the front brake and feel the tension. Throw the bike with the rear brake and feel the tension. See how the weight shifts. When you start to brake, the weight shifts to the front wheel. So if you don't know how to use the front brake, definitely you're going to get a lot of problems. And one of the problems you get is skidding. Skid braking. Skid braking. You brake and the bike starts to skid, because you are using a lot of power to brake the bike using the rear wheel, but the rear wheel doesn't have a lot of weight. The weight has shifted with the momentum to the front wheel. Go and look at that. The other mistake is riding your bike as if you are driving a car. What do I mean? The calculations that you do when you're driving are not the same calculations you do when you're riding your bike. They're not the same. You need to understand the difference between driving and riding a bike. They don't work as if they're the same, because definitely they are not the same. They are not the same. So you have to differentiate between driving and riding a bike. The way you calculate stopping distance, acceleration, maneuvers are not the same. A car has 4 wheels. You can only turn it with a steering wheel. The bike has 2. You can swerve. Okay? Counter steering. You can swerve. You can counter steer. Lean the bike this way, lean the bike the other way. You cannot lean a car. Or what you do in a car is, but on a bike, you can lean it, lean it. So you have to learn the calculations. You also have to learn the braking distance. If I'm doing 110 kilometers an hour on a bike, something happens. How long does it take for me to slow to 30? Then I can swerve. Most of the times, you don't even swerve vehicles. You swerve, you're dead. You swerve, you're dead, especially if you're driving an SUV. Those Land Cruisers, Range Rovers, yeah? Those Pangeros. You swerve them, you're gone. Those Hilux, double cabins, D-Max. If you're driving an SUV, you don't have a lot of chances to maneuver. What you do is you slow until you feel you are comfortable, then, of which most of the times doesn't work. That's why car accidents are so many. But for a bike, you can swerve. Swerve. So calculations are not the same. The other mistake is riding with a visor that is tinted, helmet visor that is tinted, black, colored, sometimes yellow, sometimes green. It is tinted. You can see from inside, but limited visibility. They help when it is sunny. We have people with eyesight issues, like myself. I like using myself as an example. These glasses, photochromics. I cannot be out here without the glasses for too long because I have an issue with sunlight. If you have such issues, you can get a helmet that has a visor that is tinted. But it is going to become problematic when it comes to riding at night, in the evening. When there is fog, when the light is not too much, that visor can get you into trouble. What happens is you're gonna ride while you're opening the visor, crossing it light. It is going to be uncomfortable. If it starts raining, trust me, you are in trouble. So while you're riding with tinted visor, you need to understand the season and the time of the day when you're riding. Don't ride at night with tinted visors. And this is a problem that a lot of beginners have. You only have money to buy one helmet, then you buy one with tinted visor. You're finished. So if you want to buy a helmet that you'll be using during the day, during the night, when it is raining, when it is sunny, get a clear visor like this one. We also have helmets with another internal visor that is dark for the sun. If you have that drop-down visor that is meant to protect you from sunlight, then you're good to go, because you'll be dropping it when it is sunny, then put it back when you don't need it. That's the perfect. But if you want to use a tinted visor, just be very sure you don't ride at night when it is raining, when it is foggy. Just don't ride, because it is not safe. The other mistake beginner bikers do is riding under the influence of something. Influence. When I talk about influence, I'm talking about alcohol, drugs, jabba, kubel, yeah? A lot of things that people consume out here to feel high. You don't ride your bike while you're high on anything. Especially these days, we have a very, very serious problem with people abusing weed. Yeah, people abusing weed. It's becoming a problem. Globally, not even in Kenya alone. Globally, people abusing weed. People have come up with different ways of consuming weed. Cooking it in biscuits and cookies, putting it in drinks, putting everywhere. Because smoking weed now doesn't look fashionable anymore. So people have crafted other ways of consuming weed. I don't think it is a good idea. Whatever drugs you're using, not when you're riding. Just forget it. When you're riding, don't do that nonsense, because it is not safe. And most beginners, before they get into very serious accidents and learn, they usually do this a lot. Riding while drunk, going for discos and parties with your bike, then you consume alcohol and you want to ride home at night, in the middle of the night. It is not funny. So beginners and even the experienced riders, it is not funny. Not funny. You are not proving anything to us. And if anything, you are just proving how stupid you are. So I don't think that is going to earn you a lot of points, proving to us how stupid you are. It is not going to be funny. The other one is relying on brakes in all emergency situations. Not all situations require brakes. Sometimes situations require you to learn into the trenches, into bare runs, into everywhere. Some situations require you to learn. You're not braking and remaining here. Some situations require you to learn. Some situations require you to accelerate. From whatever speed you are doing, accelerate. Look at this. You're checking your side mirrors and you realize there is a truck coming from behind you with headlights on, trumpets. The driver is trying to warn everyone that I don't have brakes as it is right now. I don't have brakes. So if whatever you can do, just do it and avoid dying in my hands. The truck driver will hoot and horn everything, trying to warn everybody, just get out of this. Because I'm coming at 200 kilometers an hour. My truck is on neutral gear. I made a mistake. I got into neutral gear, freewheeling, and now I'm stuck there. And the truck is heading to 200 kilometers an hour, and it is loaded with a container, 40-foot container. So we are talking about like 40-ton giant of trouble. And there you are with your motorcycle, trying to brake. What are you trying to brake for? You see? Another time you find a vehicle coming, driving on the wrong side of the road. They are coming head on. Why are you braking? It is time for you to get into trenches. Mitalo, just get somewhere. Yeah? Just get somewhere. If you can drop the bike, if there is no space, drop that bike and run away on foot. We will talk about insurance paying your bike and getting the culprit or whatever is going on. But you not being in that situation dead. Some situations don't require you to just brake and slow down and wait for whatever is going to happen. Sometimes you even drop that bike into a trench and run away. Yeah? You just run away. Some situations require you to swerve, just swerve a little bit and avoid whatever it was, not to brake. Okay? Not to brake. Sometimes a driver will not indicate, they will fail to indicate, and they want to take a junction. Just the moment you started overtaking them, they are taking a junction. To the side where you are, they are taking a junction. What do you do? Why are you braking? How long do you think you can brake and avoid hitting them? If they are getting into a petrol station, you get into that petrol station with them. Slow down, swerve, get into that petrol station with them. Just avoid hitting them. Just go. If they are getting to their gate, just go with them at home. Just go. Sometimes you don't have to brake, because braking is only going to accelerate the issue, exaggerate the problem. So you have to learn a lot. As a beginner, you have to learn a lot. The other one is thinking everybody on bikes is afraid you can trust. And this is the last one. The 10th mistake that beginners make a lot of times is thinking that everyone you find out there with a bike is your friend. You know the brotherhood? Yeah, that brotherhood. Thinking that everyone on a motorcycle is your friend. Some people are crooks. Some people are criminals. You don't have to trust everybody with your bike. At anywhere you go, people are gathered. There was a group ride and we have 50 bikers here. Anybody can sit on your bike and ride it and feel it. No, you don't do that, my friend. You don't do that. I have been in situations where we are trying to hunt for a stolen bike. Someone came fully dressed like a biker, but they do not have a motorcycle here. They don't. Then you allow them to sit on your bike. They are testing your bike around and they are just having fun, asking you questions. 2 minutes later, you cannot even find them. Nobody knows who they are. You try to ask, bike yake iko wapi? Where is the bike he came with? He never came here with any bike. Or he was carried by someone. This is what they do. They came as a passenger, carried by someone. But nobody will admit they saw them coming. Nobody. I have been in those situations where we are hunting for a bike that has just been stolen from a group ride. Not everybody you see out there looking like a biker is your friend you can trust. No, your bike is your bike. Keep it. Don't do that. My name is Meshak. What have you learned? Talk to me in the comments from number 1 to number 10. What have you learned? See you around. See you next time. God be with you. Two Wheels Paradise. See you around.